Welcome into another Running with the Timberwolves podcast on the Believe Sports Network. My name is Gabe Anderson, and I'm usually joined by Chris Emerson, but just going solo today. I wanted to do a podcast last night, but didn't have the time to, so I'm doing it right after work today. And we got to talk about it. Your Minnesota Timberwolves are going to the Western Conference Finals for the second straight year. But before we get going, I want to mention, make sure to like, share, and subscribe on YouTube and give us a 5-star rating on Spotify and or Apple. And I want to tell you about 612 Tees. The link is in the description, and they make awesome tees that you are going to want to sport during the Western Conference Finals. Just to show you a few, this awesome Nas Reed one, the 1-800 Nas Reed. You got another great Nas Reed one here, the look from Nas Reed. Nickeil Alexander-Walker Star Wars shirts as well. You're not going to want to miss out from this. And I got something pretty special because if you use promo code RUN30, that's RUN30 at checkout, you'll get 30% off your first purchase. The link is in the description. Thanks to 612 Tees for sponsoring today's show. So check them out, 612 Tees. The link is in the description. Use promo code RUN30 for 30% off your first purchase. That's RUN30. Thanks so much to 612 Tees. Now let's get into it. The Wolves win, like I was mentioning, 121-110. And let's start by celebrating, because this is the first time in Minnesota sports history that a team has made it to essentially the conference finals 2 years in a row. And of course, it was the Timberwolves who did it. Chris Finch, 21 playoff wins so far in only a couple years. Flip Saunders had 17 total playoff wins. Kevin Garnett had 17 total playoff wins with the Timberwolves. And that brings me to my first point. I feel like Anthony Edwards is surpassing the likes of Kevin Garnett in Wolves fandom. Now, obviously, Kevin Garnett has a longer longevity with the squad. We're going to have to see where it goes from here. But in just plain success, I think Anthony Edwards is really building his own legacy here, and he has an opportunity to do something really special with this team. And how about the fact where we were just a couple months ago, about a 500 team floundering, not even sure if we're going to make the play-in. And I always go back to it, that game against Portland where Anthony Edwards was basically saying, I don't know how to beat double teams. I don't know what I'm doing out there. And just look where he is now. It's astounding, the growth. And Julius Randle's growth as well. This is the best basketball he's been playing in his career. Full stop. To be doing this in the playoffs is something special. And I hate to say it, because this could get me in trouble, but Julius Randle is waiting for his next round opponent. Cat has to play tomorrow to try to make it to the third round. I'm just saying now, obviously the Celtics are probably a tougher opponent, even though they did lose Jason Tatum. But I'm just saying Julius Randle has been awesome these playoffs. And who knows, we may be on a crash course to play the Knicks in the finals. Honestly, if we make the NBA Finals, if we can get past Oklahoma City or Denver, I don't care who we're playing, because guess what? We're in the finals. And I'll take my chances against anyone in the NBA Finals. That would just be astounding. But I do want to mention, before we get to all celebratory, which don't worry, this podcast is going to be celebratory, we have to judge Julius Randle, Anthony Edwards, Jaden McDaniels, the rest of the team by what they do in this next series. And the reason I say that is because last year, Karl Anthony Towns was pretty good. I'm not going to say awesome, but he was pretty good for the first two series against the Suns and then against Denver. He had his ups and downs, but he was pretty good. What lost him with a lot of Wolves fans was his play in the Western Conference Finals against Dallas. So, to be fair, all I'm saying is we have to hold Ant and Julius Randle and Jaden McDaniels and everyone else to a higher standard, because this is where the money is made. We're halfway there. Whoa, living on a prayer. We got 9 playoff wins last year. I want to make it 16. So we need to judge these guys by how they play this next series and hopefully in the NBA Finals. Which, I mean, Randall's been playing awesome, right? So hopefully he just continues. It's going to be a different matchup. OKC has bigger guys like Harkenstein, and then, of course, the Nuggets with Jokic. But we'll have to see. We'll have to see. All I'm saying is judge these guys by how they play next series. And that's what I love. I was listening to the post-game press conference with Anthony Edwards, and he was at the podium with Rudy, and they asked Rudy, like, hey, what kind of satisfaction do you take out of beating the Warriors, making it to another Western Conference Finals? And he basically said, for Rudy, he said he doesn't take any satisfaction. Like, the job is not done. And yes, Wolves fans, we need to celebrate this. This is awesome. But we have a potential to do something here. And I love that attitude from Anthony Edwards. I'm sure that has been picked up from guys like LeBron James that he played with on Team USA. And even Steph Curry, the guy that watched Julius Randle do a little dance after hitting that 3. So I love the attitude of this team. This isn't the end goal. This is not the end goal. They're still striving to meet their goals. They're only halfway there. But to celebrate, Julius Randle has been awesome. Just absolutely fantastic. He's averaging something like 24 points. And when did he learn to shoot the 3 ball? Like Chris mentioned, he shot very bad in January. Coming back from the injury, I'd love to see his stats, but he's been very good from behind the 3-point line. And that's all we need. We just need Randle to shoot 36 to 37% from 3, something he really hasn't done in his career consistently, but he's doing that in these playoffs, and he's attacking the basket. He's being the initiator early on, and that's what we need him to continually do. And can we make a new category? Can we call Rudy Gobert Game 5 Rudy or closeout Rudy? Because just look at these stats from the last 2 closeout Game 5s. Against the Lakers, 12 for 15, 27 points, a plus 18 in 38 minutes. Now, he only played 27 minutes against Golden State, but what did he do in that time? Put up 17 points on 8 of 9 shooting. So, if you put it together, Rudy's shooting over 80% from the field in closeout games, which is just awesome. You just love to see the guy, the veteran, step up and really bring it, because the Wolves, they could have. The Wolves of old, I feel like, wouldn't have brought 110 to this game. They would have coasted on, we have the opportunity to lay back here. We can win in a Game 7 at home if we have to. But I don't want to say I was scared of Steph coming back, but you had the writing on the wall, right? You had the story pre-made where Steph's going to come back and save the Warriors, right? Like, if you give him the opportunity. Like, you can see every TV analyst, every newspaper headline, Steph comes back and saves the Warriors. But what I love is the Wolves stepped on the gas, didn't give them an opportunity to even come back, to even make a stamp on this series. And that's what I love about what the Wolves did last night. And Wolves fans, if anyone tells you that you should feel bad or makes you feel bad because, you were playing a banged up LeBron, Reeves was dealing with something, Luka wasn't 100% right, and then, Curry goes out. You have nothing to apologize for. Absolutely nothing to apologize for. Win the games that are in front of you. They're acting like there's never been an injury in a playoff series, which happens all the time. The winner of the NBA Finals, yes, it's about skill. Yes, it's about making shots, which the Wolves did last night. Yes, it's about rebounding. Yes, it's about all the other things. But there's a good amount of luck that goes into it. I can't remember a team who didn't have a good amount of luck, or injuries go the right way, or a shot goes the right way, that's won the NBA Finals. I mean, heck, look at the Toronto Raptors from 2019. That Kawhi Leonard shot, he makes that probably 1 out of 20 times. And that just happens to go in. Now, they would have gone to overtime, which I don't know who wins that game in overtime. But you need things to go your way to win a playoff series, to win the finals, to win anything in the NBA. There's a good amount of luck. The regular season, like, for example, some of the games the Wolves were playing, you have more talent than the other team, like the 76ers game, the Charlotte game. You just go out there with more talent and you win because you have more talent. But in the playoffs, it's a whole different animal. In the playoffs, you're getting their best effort. You're getting their best punch every single time. And the Wolves took care of it. They took care of it tonight or last night and the rest of the series as well. So, Wolves fans, if anyone tells you, oh, man, you guys lucked out on that one, don't listen to them. Because you just have to win the games that are in front of you. And that's what the Wolves did last night. So, another thing I wanted to mention, the whole Jimmy Butler rivalry. Obviously, when we were in Minnesota, the Wolves fans booed Jimmy Butler. It was a whole thing. Ant and Rudy, after the game, were interviewed, basically said, like, is there more satisfaction beating Jimmy Butler? And I said this in an earlier podcast. These guys don't care. This is purely between Minnesota fans and Jimmy Butler. The front office of the Minnesota Timberwolves is completely different than it was when Jimmy Butler left. The team, there is no player left from that team than when Jimmy Butler left. The owners, I mean, Glenn Taylor's still there, kind of, but in principle, the owners are completely different than when Jimmy Butler left. A lot of the fans, the new younger generation, like, if you're 7 or 6 or years old, or you were born maybe in like 2015, you don't even remember Jimmy, the fans are somewhat different than when Jimmy Butler was here. So the whole, we got to beat Jimmy Butler is not, I don't think it was really a factor for the players whatsoever, because they don't have any history with Jimmy Butler. Yes, maybe the one time he was here, which is crazy to think about. He was here one time against Miami. Anthony Edwards got into it with him, but I think that was more just the flow of the court or the tenseness of the game. But the whole Jimmy Butler thing, I think, is more fans than anything else. But looking forward, who I want to play, OKC or Denver. You may be listening to this or watching this and already know who they're going to play. We're going to do a podcast maybe tomorrow night. If OKC wins tonight, we'll do a podcast tomorrow night. I don't know. I think Denver makes more sense to play against. I just think, particularly with Michael Porter Jr. playing like garbage, and we know that Jokic is going to go off, right? We've seen it before. He did everything he could for the Nuggets in Game 5, and they still lost. Like, if we can, Alexa, turn off alarm. Like, if we can get him in that scenario where he has to do everything and there's no help, I think the Wolves can take advantage of that. But at the same time, I don't know. The OKC series kind of intrigues me. It really does. Because it would just be fun. Two young, scrappy teams playing for the heart of the Western Conference. Hey, how about the Midwest Division right now? Or is it still the Midwest Division? I'll have to look it up. I can't remember. I know divisions are basically meaningless. But our division have the only 3 teams in the West that remain in the playoffs. Denver, so 3/5 of the division are still alive, and there's only 3 teams left. Denver, us, and OKC. Really, and last year, those were the top 3 anyway. So we're playing the best teams the most, and we're taking advantage of it. Our iron sharpens iron, and that's what we're seeing with these Minnesota Timberwolves. So the main takeaway from today's podcast is really enjoy this. Enjoy the moments. You don't know when it's going to come back. Obviously, we'd love Anthony Edwards to continually take us to finals after finals and succeed every single year. But remember how bad we used to be. Like when we were floundering, early 90s and mid 2000s to 2010s. Just horrible. No hope. No sense of direction. We're playing guys like Sebastian Telfair. We're hoping that Randy Foye is going to turn our franchise around. No offense, but we're hoping, and I'm guilty of this as well, we're hoping that an injury-prone Brandon Roy is going to be the difference on this team. Obviously, that didn't work out. We've had guys like Nathan Jawai. We've had guys like a completely overweight Darko Milicic as our starting center. We've had so much garbage. But now we get to reap the benefits. And it just shows. Now, obviously, this team was built, right? The Rudy trade was made. We got Mike Conley in here. We drafted Jaden McDaniels. We lucked out on Naz Reid. Let's be honest, we lucked out on Naz Reid because that could have happened to any team, could have come and picked up Naz Reid. But we were the one that happened to get it. And to the Wolves' credit, they developed him, right? They didn't give up on him. They gave him ample chances. But it's crazy. And this will show how important the draft lottery is with the whole Cooper Flag going to Dallas thing. That one night where we drafted Anthony Edwards, we didn't know it at the time. We were hoping it would, but we did not know it at the time that it was going to completely change the complexion of the next at least 5 years, 5, 6, 7, 8 years. We didn't know it at the time, but it was going to change everything for the Minnesota Timberwolves. And that's exactly what it did. It changed everything for the Timberwolves. And my hat's off the organization, Chris Finch, A-Rod and Laurie bringing in a new excitement for this team. And we don't know what the future is going to hold. Well, what we do know is it's going to be fun. And running with the Timberwolves is going to be your recap. It's going to be your source of Wolves talk and debate. It's going to be there for you throughout these playoffs and beyond. So please like, share, and subscribe on YouTube and give us a 5-star rating on Spotify and or Apple. And make the best way that you can support the show is by checking out 612 Tees. The link is in the description. Use promo code RUN30 at checkout. Please check them out. 612 Tees. That's spelled out SIXONE 2 TWOTEES. And you can check them out on Twitter as well. Use RUN30 at checkout. So we're going to be covering it. We'll probably do a podcast tomorrow or Monday, depending on the outcome of the OKC Denver series. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe on YouTube and give us a 5-star rating on Spotify and or Apple. And as always, go Wolves.